OFC Nation, welcome to the show. Today's going to be a hopefully educational video for you guys. It is Navigation 101. This will not be, any sort of advanced navigation course. And by that I mean you will be learning the basics of a compass. Okay? Compass. Not a compass. Yes, this is also called a compass. Now you can use these if you do a search on YouTube or anything else. I'm sure you will find someone out there doing a video on very detailed navigation, which takes some people quite a bit of time to wrap their head around. With this, you're looking at the military map system, grid system. You really don't need this until you get into very detailed navigation and plot pointing. Uh, you need to, if you need to call in fire, you're behind enemy lines, you need to call in artillery. It's good to know how to use one of these along with one of these to drop artillery, missiles, whatever, on an enemy target. Other than that, we're going to take this and we're just going to throw this over here. Now, one very important thing. Most people say, oh, well, I've got GPS. I've got, Google Maps. Those are all great until the power goes out. Now, one thing I used to like to do to my soldiers was, they'd pull out their daggers. It was a handheld GPS military version. And they would say, well, we got these, Sarge. I'd be like, all right, everybody remove your batteries. And once their batteries were removed and stored safely in my pack, they had a dumbfounded look on their face many times, except for the old school cats who knew how to use one of these along with one of these to find their way to different waypoints. Now, the power will go out someday. That is what preppers count on or prepare for. Not necessarily that they want, but that they know is a strong likelihood. And when the power goes out and your batteries go dead, and you don't have a chance to recharge them or time to recharge them, you need to have a good old-fashioned compass and good old-fashioned maps. All right? And you need to know how to use them, at least in a general sense. So, some basics. This right here is standard issue most of the time, the U.S. military. This one is not my issued one. My issued one is in my LBV, but I have this one as well. Exact same make and model, because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. It is the Kamanga. All right, see that? Boom. That's what it looks like. All right, and it even says they got the official U.S. military compass. Yes, and it does tell you how to use it in here, and some of the way it's written is confusing for people who have never actually picked up a compass that did anything other than just point north, south, east, and west. First, you need to learn about declination. What is declination? Okay, when you look at your compass and it spins roundy round on the dial, and then the arrow locks in on north, that is magnetic north. Okay, when you look at a map like this part up here is not magnetic north. Magnetic north varies east and west depending on where you are located geographically. So, in a nutshell, if you think that you are headed north, okay, oh, I'm going to follow my compass north because I know directly north of me is a town that is 30 miles away. And you have a 20-degree declination, it means you're 20 degrees off. It means in 30 miles, you are going to shoot straight past the town. Basically, my handy dandy notebook. Yes, this is an old military one of mine. It's got all kinds of crap written in here, sergeant stuff. Basically, if this is your starting point, okay, and this is where you want to go, okay, your map shows that there's a town north of you. However, if you have, let's say in western or eastern West Virginia, I believe it's right around 10 degrees declination. So that means that my north compass is actually pointing over here. See that little spot right there? So if I'm following my compass north, I go right past the town, straight past it, never see it. That is why you must understand magnetic declination. All right. So it varies in the United States. Like I said, in eastern West Virginia, it's about 10 degrees right now because it changes from year to year slightly. Where I am currently, it is around 5.5 to 6.5 degrees declination. So I have to adjust my compass so that I walk in a straight line. I actually have to align north on my compass with north on the map. Now, that will sound complicated, but it's really quite simple. You turn your map and your compass until both of them, until this points north, and then your compass, your compass when laid on the map, is lined up with true north on your map. So basically, I will take it like this. This is a topo map. I will set it like this, and I will turn it until this reads N, going straight up and down on my index line. The index line is a dark line that is etched into the glass. You see that? That makes both of these north. But when I pick it up, of course, the declination is going to change because we're not oriented with the outside world. There's a little dial here that spins. Here, I'll show you. This little dial here, your outside bezel. See that little indicator there moving back and forth? Well, you start out with that right on your index line. All right, and when these are both pointing north on your map, while it's pointed north, it'll say 360. 360 north. You simply click 1, 2, 3 for where I'm at now would give me about 6.5 degrees of declination because each click is about 3. So 1, 2. I take that back. 2. That'll give me right around 6 degrees of declination. Offset it. Now, I put that, when I want to walk north, I simply put that, make sure my north arrow points at that little indicator. See that little indicator? As long as my arrow is pointing at that, I'm actually following a true north. Okay? Based off of magnetic north. So instead of following 360, I'm following 350. All right? And people will go, whoa, this is where people get confused. They'll be like, well, if 360 is north and he's following 350, he's going this way. Yes, but when you move a compass left, the needle goes right. So it goes back the opposite direction. That's why people get confused a lot. If you just follow the basic instructions that come in this book, or Google declination and how to adjust for it, it will tell you the same thing I told you. If it's positive declination, going the other way, which will happen on the West Coast, your compass will point this way. On the East Coast, it points this way to true north, or to magnetic north. When you want to go north, you want to make this match up with this. So you have to adjust the numbers. When it's to the left, I'm going to the left. When it's to the right, I'm going to the right. That will offset the declination. Okay? So, hopefully, you're still tracking. And hopefully, you're not just going, oh, he just blew my mind. It will work. Trust me. I'm going to take you outside and show you how to shoot an azimuth. Now, what an azimuth is a direction of travel, okay, on a compass bearing. And what you want to do is you want to set your compass up like this, and when you hold it, you can put your thumb through there like that for stability, and hold on to it, hold it in front of you, and you're going to look through this groove, which lines up with that wire that's in there. See that wire? And that's what you're going to use for target acquisition. All right? So that way you're looking at your target. Then, once you have your target where you're going to, your B point of travel, because you're going from A to B, you can look through the lens down onto your dial, and you can see what your bearing is. All right? That is your degrees of travel. We're not going to use mils. There are two sets of numbers in here. The outer ring is mils, yes, and the inner ring is degrees. Most of you are familiar with degrees, not mils. So we are going to be dealing with degrees of travel. All right, you get your degrees, 30 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever it is. You get your point or your landmark in the distance, and you will shoot a straight line. Then you will close up your compass by pushing this down, which locks it so it doesn't spin roundy and break itself. And you just close it up, and you chuck on down the road to your next destination. All right, once you get to from A to B, you will shoot a reverse azimuth to verify that you are still on track. Then you will continue the process over and over until you reach your end destination. All right, so a compass is good for more than just north, south, east, west. Of course, you can use it as such if you're just trying to get basic bearings or to a highway or whatever is familiar in the distance in the area. All right, but as far as navigation goes, you for any distance, you need to take into account declination. All right. Here, I'm going to put this up. Boop. All right. This shows you basically the declination across the United States. If you see the line in the middle there where it says 0, that means if your compass is pointing it north and you're on that line in that region, then you're actually heading north. There is no adjustment needed. You just go off of the index line. You can just use the index line right there. Turn that until that's on the compass, is on north, and shoot yourself an azimuth and get to trekking. All right, you don't have to deal with the bezel on that point of 0 as far as just trying to head true north. Again, there are many other things that this can do. If you're using it in a military application for high-speed hua land navigation. Now, another thing I'd like to point out is that you don't always have to travel in a straight line. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, what? No, trust me. There are people out there that will shoot an azimuth from point A to point B, and their brain will tell them, oh man, we got to go in a straight line, but there's a swamp in front of us. What do we do? Well, we're going to march through the swamp. No, you don't have to march through the swamp. You can circumnavigate the swamp, come out on the other side, reshoot a reverse azimuth from a major landmark to a major landmark, and keep on trekking. I say this because one time I was buddy paired up with a ranger, and he was insistent on the fastest route was a straight line, and we ended up going straight through a damn swamp. Yes, waist deep in all kinds of nasty stuff, trekking right through a swamp. Was it effective? Did it work? Yes. Was it the fastest route? Possibly. I didn't take the alternate route, but at the end of the day, yes, we had found all of our landmarks. Yes, we had completed the task, and yes, we were completely soaking wet and miserable, while everybody else was dry. Yeah, but hey, Rangers lead the way. I let him do his little thing, and we accomplished the task. All right, now before I go outside in the cold to show you how to shoot an azimuth with this, or the basic principles of it, let me talk about Orion, okay? Because at nighttime, in the event you don't have one of these, in the daytime, you can use the sun. It travels across the sky, rises in the east, sets in the west, at least for now. But, you never know. Maybe there'll be an executive order that changes that. We'll see. Anyway, no, at night, you don't have the luxury of the sun traveling across the sky, but you do have other suns. We call them stars. And yes, stars are suns because the sun is a star. And you can use those. I can't find, to save my life, it is very difficult for me, yes, to find the Big or Little Dipper. I know people are going to be like, what? You can't find the Big? I just get to looking at it, I'm like, man, there's just too much bright shit up there. The one thing I can quite easily find is Orion the Hunter, okay? Almost everybody can see him. It's huge. It looks like this. Boop. Okay, this is Orion the Hunter. Now, one of the things I want to show you about that is that Orion can be seen year-round. Orion is typically right across the equator. So if you are in North America, which I am, and probably most of you are, or in Europe, and you see Orion, that guy, in the night sky, you look up like this. Oh, there it is, right there. If you have to turn around and look behind you, guess what? You had just been facing north, because Orion is down near the equator, almost straight above the equator, actually. So, if you can look up and see Orion, one, you are facing pretty much south. So behind you is north. And even if it's directly overhead, like not directly overhead, if you're doing like this, then you're probably pretty close to the damn equator. But if you just got to look up a little bit, oh, there he is. Yeah, that's Orion. You'll see the 3 stars. See the 3 stars on his belt? Boop, boop, boop. Those 3 stars, that's Orion's belt. Now, those 3 stars, go away, Orion, look basically like this. Right? 1, 2, 3. Ignore that. That was from the diagram earlier. 1, 2, 3. Now, the thing is, if you draw an imaginary line, if you're looking up in the sky, you see, oh, look at those 3 stars. And you draw in your mind an imaginary line that basically goes like that. All right? This is east. And this is west. So you can use celestial navigation to find basic north-south, east-west. It's a general guideline. All right. Well, there's that. Let's go out, and I'm going to go trekking through the snow to show you guys basically how to shoot an azimuth. And I'm hoping I haven't forgotten anything, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be cold. All right, let's get to it. Okay, this is a much better spot to be able to shoot an azimuth. Outside, open, lots of terrain. It's cold. See the lengths I go to make a video for you? Yeah, click the like. So anyway, now that we're out in the open, we have our handy dandy compass, not to be confused with the other compass that I showed you a few moments ago. We need to shoot an azimuth. We need a landmark. So we're going to use this big tree behind me as our starting point. And we're going to use the tree way over there. That big bushy one. You can't really see the details of it from the camera, I'm sure, but I can see from here. And what that will do is allow me to have two very identifiable landmarks that on this end I can shoot my azimuth, and once I get to that end, I'll be able to line up and verify I am still on my path of travel. Now, basically you set your compass up like this, so that way you can look through the lens, line that line up with this one here, peer through your lens while looking down at your compass bearing, and this gives you your bearing of travel from point A to point B. All right, now the benefit of having two, the reason why you want to have two major landmarks is because you cannot always travel in a straight line unless you develop wings and learn how to fly. In this instance, I could travel in a straight line. However, it is not the most ideal terrain. On the other side of the hill, there is a lake. So if I'm continuing my path of travel beyond point B over there, I will need to circumnavigate that lake as well. So had that lake been on this side, I simply have my point here, my point there. I travel around the lake. In this case, I'm traveling around the road and the drop-offs, the cliffs that are down here below me. And I will get to my point B, my line of sight point B, by going around the object. And once I'm there, I'll still be able to look back and verify, because this is on a hilltop, that I have maintained my correct azimuth. Now, from here to there, let me back up. Let me get right here along this tree, so I'm directly in line. Boop, tree. I'm going to shoot my azimuth as such. And I am looking at 65 degrees. All right, let's go check it from the other side. We'll be back. Okay, whew. Now that we're on the other side, see, big bushy tree that I was looking at from way over there. See, what I want to do is get my handy dandy compass back out, and I want to shoot a reverse azimuth and make sure that I am still on track. Of course, I know I'm still on track because I have this big visual thing here that I saw from over there, and I have that big visual thing there that I was standing in front of a few moments ago. But just to make sure, take out my compass and I make sure that I'm still on track. Now, I was at roughly 65 degrees, give or take, for the compass on that side. It means I'll be about 245-ish on this side. And make sure I'm lined up with this tree and line up with that tree over there. And I am, give or take, about 245, 246 degrees. About 246 degrees. Again, it's not going to be 100% dead on the money depending on how you're standing or what you're standing near. Again, here's the table of what not to be around or have this compass around when you're taking measurements. I'm going to put that right here for a second, right there. Okay, you see, and it shows you the distances of how many feet you should be away from specific objects. Even your battle rifle, you need to sling it across your back, lean it up against a tree, keep this about a foot away or two from your rifle, because the metal in it will alter the reading. All right, vehicles, big one, alter the reading. You want to have this thing away from metallic objects. All right, and from here, if I wanted to continue in a straight line, I would just get on the other side of this tree. But as you can see, there's this hill that goes up over. So what I want to do is I want to get up onto the top of the hill there, where I'm still on line with this, and find me another major landmark in the distance if I want to continue that same heading, and repeat the process over and over until I get where I want to get. Okay? All right. I'm going to take this back inside because, baby, it's cold outside. Ooh. Well, now that I'm out of the cold, I hope you learned something. If you did, which you should have learned at least about what an azimuth is, line of travel along a compass heading. You should have learned what to keep your compass away from when you're out using it. And you should have learned about declination, how to adjust for it, basically, and celestial navigation. So hopefully you find this useful and enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. Give us a like, thumbs up, share the video, you know, all the cool guy stuff. So, all right, nation. Again, I hope this helps somebody out there, at least if it helps one person. You know what? Here's another thing I almost forgot, because I was just getting ready to say goodnight to my baby sharks like I always do. And here's what I taught them so far for basic navigation, because, you know, they're little. If you ever find yourself lost in the woods and you do not have one of these, you do not have one of these, whatever the case, you have nothing. All right? Streams lead to creeks. Creeks lead to rivers, and rivers will lead you to civilization. There you go. That's Baby Shark Navigation 101. Streams lead to creeks. Creeks lead to rivers. Rivers will lead you home. Civilization. All right. OFC Nation, good night. God bless. To my baby sharks, Daddy loves you. Had a good time with you yesterday. And I'll see you again soon. All right? Daddy's always here. I'm out.